What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today? All right. We are live. Conditions are good. And let's start notifying some people. Alrighty. How you doing today, Jay?
Doing pretty good, man. It's another great day, you know.
Nice, nice. All right. Oh man. You see, we got Kymar with us today. I think I need like more monitors now. I've got my one to the right where I've got OBS, I've got my main one here, and I've got one over here that's got everything else, but I feel like I need like another three more monitors to be able to have a window for each one. Move the
Yeah, I
mic
use
over
three
here.
myself.
It's so much easier. Let's see. Going
Mm.
and let's see here. Let's find
To
ourselves.
the YouTube.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch the Oh, you were streaming last night, so you wouldn't have seen it. But we did a stream last night with
Oh yeah, I saw it this morning with Sethi.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, we're talking about some Flat Arena stuff. Hi Rollington, Steven, how you doing, guys? Welcome, welcome. Um,
I watched like 60% of it. I didn't have enough time to watch the whole thing.
yeah, yeah, I feel 2 hours is kind of my cutoff. It's like there's so many things that I could sit there and talk about, and I'm just like, I could sit here for like now I understand how you guys do like the 24-hour streams. And before I was just like, there's no way for me to do that. None. Um, and then now seeing it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see how that's done. You sit here all of a sudden, it's 2 hours later, and you're like, wow. I'm actually I've got another special guest. I'm gonna be doing a what's it called with tonight? Another collab. So
Which content creator?
um
Oh, you used the same thumbnail for
yeah, I know.
this
I
live,
gotta, I
so it's
gotta,
gonna
I
look.
gotta take it out. Up
Yeah.
front, you're killing me. Yeah, I gotta go in and take that thumbnail out, replace it. All right, let's see. Let me fix this now. Brunt, go ahead, turn your
What?
camera on. There you
Sure,
go.
give
That
me a second.
fix J. You got a green screen or no?
I have a virtual green screen, so I can handle it. So,
Okay.
on. Let me get
Download it.
my virtual green screen going.
Okay. So add another one. Window. General.
There we go.
All right. Oh, okay. So you're gonna be. We'll put you on the
No,
top.
I can I can get rid of that
No,
too.
no, no.
So
That's fine. That's fine. You can use that. You can use that. It just makes it so I know where I have to put you.
that works then. Then I will stay in my cockpit. How's it going, Jay?
Doing pretty good. Another
That's
great
good.
day.
That's good. I had to do an emergency grocery run quickly, so.
All right. Lock that. Lock that. Jay needs a chroma key. No, wrong one. This one needs the chroma key.
There we go. If you want the background removed, that's the background removed, literally. So
No, but you don't have to. That's fine.
that's fine.
I've got you in Thule spot, so you got the TV up top. So, all right,
Yeah, we'll
now
hide the font.
that's Jay's.
All right. Stop playing with it.
We'll move your logo up here. There we go. All right, I think we are locked and loaded. 99.9% sure we're ready. Rock Angel,
Was there a
welcome,
topic
welcome.
today, or
What is it?
was there a topic today that we're talking about? Because I never
Yes.
actually asked that.
Yes, we are going to be discussing Live Arena. And then as soon as my man Steven can get his stuff situated, we will be going on his account and doing a takeover for him, kind of go through and see what he's got, where he needs some help, and yeah. Okay. All right. Not bad. Only 13 minutes late today.
I'll take
Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Teleria Knights. Today we have to my left, Kaimar. He is here as the raid representative as always. We got to give him their say, and hopefully he can take some notes back to Plarium for any suggestions we might have. Next to him, we have the one, the only JR Star 3. How you doing, Jay?
Doing pretty good, man. Always an honor to be here and just want to talk about Ray.
And above from him, it looks like he's out in space today. We have Brunt Cat Herder. There you go, Thule. How you doing, Brunt?
Doing pretty good. Good to be on here. Good to be here.
Nice. Thank you for coming. Thank you for
Hope
coming.
Kaimar doesn't put me to sleep. So
I think you might just reset our cooldowns every so often, so. So yeah, today, guys, we are going to be talking about the live arena that they announced in game, right? Boy, oh boy. I guess I should probably pull up the video and let's see if we can take a look at it. Cause yeah, oh man, I have so many questions.
there's a lot to digest. There's a lot of worries that you should have. There's a lot of cool things that could happen from it, and knowing Plarium, it'll be a little bit of everything.
Yes, that is true. Why can't I find their video? I guess I should probably just look in Discord. Probably should have had this pulled up, but well, close enough. It's this one.
This dungeon will be getting the
Nope. I can get to the page that I need right here. There we go.
a limited group of
All right. So yeah. Live arena. I'm kind of excited. What about you, Jay?
Something we wanted in Raid for a long time. There's other games that even start up and have it from date like within a few days. Like I'm playing
Hello,
Street Fighter Duel
everyone.
on the side,
Welcome.
and just experiencing all the little things it has. It has regular like classic arena, I guess you could call it. It even has tag team and live arena, all within like the first month of launch. So it's something that I understand why maybe Raid has slowly taken a little time because they don't try to copycat everyone. They try to get the best of other games and make it their own in their own way.
Yep.
But I think it's been long overdue. We were supposed to technically have it last year, but because of the whole war and stuff like that, it really did
Right.
push things back a whole year. So it's kind of something that's been hyped over a year now. So we need it to be good, right? We want it to be something that not only the community will be wanting to do, like invest their time in, because there's so much things to invest your time in now, but it also has to be rewarding. And from what I've seen in terms of the video and just hearing, there's a lot of free rewards, right? We're getting lots of stuff. So if you've done faction wars before, either from early to like mid to late, you'll definitely see how much free stuff you get from faction wars. We might be getting almost equal to that in live arena as well. So hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah, I noticed the rewards, and it looked like it was kind of rinse and repeat rewards to me. But it just like I think I'll find it in the video when we go through and I'll point it out. But the rewards kind of just look like, yeah, they're here, you get something. Other than that new champion that they're going to release, but we'll get to him in a little bit. Brunk, what are your thoughts?
Well, as Jay said, the definitely this got delayed because somebody took PvP a little too seriously into the real world. So definitely not the way to go. But
Yeah.
but yeah, this was I was certainly looking forward to this last year. I'm still looking forward to it. As with any new mode, there's a lot of interesting stuff here. There's a lot to look forward to. Some of the rewards look nice. Some of the rewards look rehashed. And not to say the rehashed rewards aren't still nice, but it's still rehashed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, there's interesting pitfalls with Live Arena, both from a how this could work from players as far as a time sink is concerned. The other thing I worry about with Live Arena is Jay was mentioning here that there is a lot of other games that do Live Arena. And Jay, you probably got more experience in this, but Live Arena win rates in those 40 to 60% is actually a fairly good win rate in Live Arena because you're live versus people. And if the balance is correct, you're at a 50-50 match, give or take. And given people are used to, if I'm below 80% in arena, I'm doing something wrong or I'm out of my class, how am I supposed to handle suddenly getting to something that takes me maybe 20, 30 minutes to do? I lose and I don't get a chance to do it again for the next 2 hours or 4 hours, and I don't get anything out of it. So how are they gonna handle rewards for losing? Hopefully, there are some loss rewards in there as well, so, but yeah, that's kinda where I'm at with it, is it looks interesting, I think it'll be a lot of fun, but there's several pitfalls that, if they don't address them right away, are gonna ruin it for a lot of people and drive a lot of people out of it.
What kind of pitfalls are you thinking?
Well, again, the if you lose, you get some rewards. Well, that was then incentive for, hey, I know I've lost this match. Let's get out of this, and both of us can go find another match. If I lose and there's no rewards of any kind, then there's incentive for me, if I'm a troll or something like that, to decide to run a match as long as I possibly can to make you hang in there, hoping that maybe you'll give up and drop out rather than me losing because I can't win.
Mm.
So the unwinnable scenarios could draw out matches to half an hour. Um, Even with fairly quick matches, if matches take 10 to 15 minutes, kind of like the time they seem to indicate, you're going to get 3 or 4 in an hour, period, and that's all you're doing.
Mm.
So that can be some difficulties you could have as well. So there's some frustration from that. Obviously, the duplicate champ thing could be an issue, but that's only going to be an issue at Gold Arena. And by Gold, you should have a flexible enough roster, hopefully, that it's not going to be a major issue. But you're going to get people that are going to get caught by surprise. I take only one nuker out of my 5, and somebody bans my nuker. Suddenly, I have no win condition.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of those things where, people's accounts are going to have to start having 3 or 4 nukers in there minimum to be able to acclimate with this. But yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Partner champs are not going to be viable in arena either, because unless you can manage to sneak multiple partner champs in there and somebody can only ban one of the partners, getting both of your partner champs in there is difficult, let alone if the other team has them, they can shadow ban your partner by taking the other partner.
Hmm. Wait,
Not necessarily
no.
an issue in a lot of the partner
Is
finishes.
that how that is supposed to work? Like,
Yeah, in gold, and you've got the video up, so you can watch the video. But in gold, it is 0 dupes on either side. So if I pull up Cupidus and somebody else pulls Venus, I can't grab Venus as well.
That's
okay,
true.
that's gonna be a problem. I see. I just thought you weren't able to just pick the dupes, but yeah. Okay.
No, and it's great because it's a matter of, oh, like he picked Baron, I better bring my Georgian in now so he doesn't also bring Georgian, then I can only ban one of them and I'm kind of screwed. So you can
Yeah.
force the issues with some of the picks, and I think that part of it is wise. It also means it won't be, Taurus, Marishka, Duchess, and insert 2 other champs in every single fight in Platinum or High Gold Arena all the time. So the fights will have forced variance because you can't have dupes on either side. It
Okay.
also means you can ban people from the other side by picking them, even if they may end up being dead weight on your team. So you're going to have some interesting strategy even from the draft.
Mm. Mm. All right. So let's start watching it, and then I'll stop it every so often, and we'll kind of review and give our opinions and thoughts about what's going on. So, I think
To
this
our
should be
newest
good.
update preview, where we'll be shining a light on one of our most highly anticipated features. Prepare to enter the live arena. As always, let's cover the basics first. Live Arena is a new arena mode where you can engage in real-time PvP battles against other players. While
So I just want to stop real quick. I love this look. I love the background. I don't know what you guys think, but I love it. I love the detail that they went in. I love that they didn't just rehash classic or 3v3 arena. Uh, the look and style of it. What do you think, Jay?
It looks really fresh. It does. It's like something you wouldn't like expect. I like it a lot.
Bront, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's got a bit of a like Middle Eastern tent type feel to it of kinds, and some of the lavish, from movies of that type of that type of feel to it, or like circus tent or entertainment carnival type festival or something like that. It's got some interesting colors to it, all kinds of interesting details. The more you look at it, the more interesting details you find. Honestly, it kind of makes me wish they'd redo some of the 3v3 arenas are just kind of bland.
Yeah.
Like the gold one kind of looks more like you're fighting a sewer than you are actually fighting anything of note. So
Yeah, yeah. I can agree with that. Um, I don't know what's going on with that, but
but Raid has always had visuals that have been great. So
that is true. That is true. That is true.
that's incredibly awesome by itself, Live Arena also comes with new quests, new artifact sets, as well as a Great Hall expansion, where you can use special Live Arena crests you earn from winning battles to unlock additional bonuses.
pause there for a second.
I know.
Okay.
Go back because I'll cover that a little bit. Just of interesting note, and maybe I'm skipping a little bit on that, but the Great Hall bonuses, which I don't know if everyone was aware of or not. There's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3.
I'm excited.
And they grow in how difficult they are to get. Now, I think the only tier 1 is potion keeps, which is honestly a bit of a joke because who needs potion keep bonuses, But
yeah. Let me see. There we go. Right here.
There we go. Yeah. So yeah, you've got the potion keep, the 4 main dungeons, Hydra and Demon Lord. So you've got 7 locations. Grade 3, I think, is Hydra and Demon Lord. Grade 2 is all the dungeons, and then grade 1 is potion keeps, if I recall correctly. And we can confirm that in a different part of the video as well. I don't think they showed the cost of everything on grade 1, but grade 2 is the same standard cost that we have currently for The live arena, or not for the live arena, but for the arena medals. So the 100, 200, 400 gold, bronze medals goes to 200 gold, silver, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Grade 3 is double that. So grade 3 is going to be twice as hard to grind just being grade 3 as grade 2.
Wow.
And hopefully that means that grade 1 is going to be half as difficult to grind as grade 2. Otherwise, it's still going to be kind of gross. But there is a lot of extra grinding that they're going to add into this.
Yeah, I feel I think with this it's going to be another case where the whales, or actually maybe not, because it is going to be set at a certain time, so maybe the whales won't be able to have that much of an advantage. It will have to be more skill based, or maybe champion specific. I don't know, but I don't think like the whales, unless you can get into a fight and farm that fight, or go up against that opponent in like 30 seconds. I don't think the whales are going to be able to fill this out like they have. I mean, I've seen people that have started 6 months, and because they buy so much and they've spent so much, they're able to max out their grade haul within like 6 months. Where it took, I mean, my account is 3 years old, and it took like 2.5 years. I know, who was it lately that just did it? HWZ just finally completed his after he's been playing for 2.5, 3 years. So I'm kind of happy that it's not going to give the whales versus the free to play and the low spend community that much of an advantage that quickly.
On the other hand, the affinity bonuses versus the arena bonuses, the affinity bonuses actually can affect the outcome in arena, whereas none of these can affect the outcome of live arena. So from that perspective, if whales get advantages in this stuff, it's all PvE stuff. I don't care if they can do PvE that much faster.
That's true.
Versus
That's
me
true.
who's not spending. So it doesn't really hurt me that much. Other than obviously, if it's easier for them to farm Fire Knight, it's easier for them to then eventually get better gear and then go back into arena and deal with it. But you're talking very long-term gains from that, as opposed to, oh boy, I was able to grind out those 3 medals here, so I've got 10% more crit damage than you do.
Right. All right, let's keep going into it.
Bonuses. I know. I'm excited too. You'll unlock Live Arena once you reach level 50. And
so this was a key sticking point for me. Level 50 is when it's released. I feel like that's too early for some players. What do you think, Brent?
I think level 50 is fine for Live Arena, considering there's going to be bronze. So, and in fact, the way it's built, bronze, you can't even fall down. Bronze, you eventually just earn your way out.
Okay.
So if I struggle in bronze consistently, it doesn't hurt me that it's there. I'm just not doing it, and it doesn't really bother me that much. And the only way to really fall down in bronze is to not play at all. Silver is where it's going to be at for a lot of people now, because I think you're actually going to have more people stick around in silver for a longer time than they do in the current arena meta. But that's fine, because with a live arena, it's a lot easier to balance that sort of thing versus in the classic arena, either you have an account that can be in that area or you don't. So
yeah. What about you, Jay?
Honestly, I think it's fine because everything is slowly, like right when you start from the get-go, like as you're leveling up, they want you to focus certain areas, right? Like they're okay, go to dungeons, do the campaign. You can't release it all like other content as well, because then they're gonna be like, oh, I have too many things to do, I can't do this. So you want to slowly progress it and throw it in. And I think most people are gonna be focusing on classic anyways, prioritizing because you need your great haul, right? Then tag team, you might even just do a little bit, but not that much because you need a lot of champions for that. I think people will probably focus a little bit more on the live end, and tag team might be thrown to the side a little bit. People will still do it, but not. I don't. People probably focus a little bit more on the live than like tag team. Like if I was a new account, right?
Yeah, I find even new accounts, level 50 is hard to do tag team in still at 50.
Right. Yeah.
But having 5 champs built for live arena, a lot easier, even 6 or 7 that you might need.
Is it going to be 5 champs though? Because I mean, if I go in with, let's say, my Rotos, and Sifi, and you ban my Rotos, but I bring my Baron in, um, you know, you're still gonna have to build multiple champions. You're still gonna have to
Yeah,
have a minimum of at least a solid 10 in your roster.
yeah. At worst, you need 10, and that's assuming that somebody else is going to grab the exact same champs you are. And
Right.
honestly, in early game, that's not a huge problem. And again, the banning issue for duplicates isn't even an issue until gold.
Mm-hmm.
So in live arena at 50, if everybody's running Kale, Tyrell, Arbiter, and some other champ, that's what everyone's running, and it can happen.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right. And I still feel like level 50 is just too early because I mean, people that are starting their free to play accounts and stuff like that, they can grind up to level 50 in 2-3 weeks at most.
No. Have you actually done a free to play account recently for the references? Free to play grinding for 50 takes me about 45 days.
I
So
have not yet, but one of the giveaways I'm actually doing on the channel is I'm going to be doing somebody's Chronom, um, and I expect that to be, I'm giving myself, if I have to do 6 accounts, I'm giving myself about a solid 6 to 7 weeks to try to get him to level 50. And that's doing free to play, just campaign, just doing the quest, and ignoring everything
yeah,
else.
that's
But
about right if you're doing all three of them side by side. If you're doing one at a time, you're only going to get one of them done in that time.
yeah,
It's just though it's easy to get to level 10, it's easy to get to level 25. Once you hit level 30, experience goes down the tubes, partially because by then you're often running out of your 2x bonuses as well.
mm,
And then around level 40, the difference between level 40 and level 50 is like 2 to 3 times as much experience as it is to get to level 40. So it really ramps up really hard right there.
okay.
You're talking 3 to 4 days per level at that point in time.
Hmm.
So
I'll
yeah, you're talking characters that people or player accounts that are probably a month and a half to 2 months in by the time they're getting to live arena.
yeah. And I again, even at that, I still feel it's too early because unless you're wailing out, what are you gonna get? You can't do Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. You're not gonna be getting the same rewards that everybody else is that has been playing for, you
Yeah,
know,
but you're not going to be fighting against those champions in bronze because people
maybe.
that are doing alternate air should be ahead of that.
Well,
So
they should. Depends on how much they fight. Like, if I'm only fighting my 5 fights a week, and I have a stacked account, and let's say Steven, who's much lower than I am, and he's free to play, and he gets put up against me, that's going to be an easy win for me, even if he's in silver or bronze or something. So I don't know. I feel like it definitely should be much higher. I feel like 75, maybe 80, is where it should be, because it is in my eyes, it is a end game content. It is strictly for end game players. Um, I think, yeah, I think going too early is too low.
No, I mean like I said earlier, SFD came out, and I'm doing live arena with my trashy, Street Fighter characters, and I'm fighting against bronze people and it was unlocked within the first 20, 30 levels.
Mm,
And it doesn't, when you're fighting lower end, you're not gonna be. It's not hard at all. It's all just PP. It's all your player power, what you invested into, how much gear, stuff like that. But it's not gonna really matter. I think live arena is gonna get insane once you get to gold, because there's different things you have to look. Early on is people are probably gonna troll each other, ban their nukers, and now they're gonna be like, well, it's all my supports versus all your supports. It's gonna be kind of weird matches, probably in bronze and silver. But once you get to gold, it gets really serious. Then you have to actually start like giga braining, thinking like, okay, what are they using? I wouldn't be surprised if players start like keeping track of people's accounts. Like, what's your champions? People usually keep track of like in plat when they're pushing. Like,
Yeah, I
okay,
was
this
gonna
person has
say
really good
that people are
defense.
already doing that. I know clans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know my clan. We have on our Discord. Everybody's team that we fight up against from Matt or any other clan, it goes in there. It says, "Hey, these are the teams. This is." So I could see that being used in this. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jay.
No, I mean just
Oh,
just to think of it this way, if they're using similar limits to what they've got in Tag Arena, for example, Tag Arena's got 2,500 people in Gold 4, 3,000 Gold 3, 4,500 Gold 2, and 7,000 in Gold 1. So there's 15-ish thousand people in your top gold. That's an awful lot of people, and you can have an awful lot of movement in a much more free flowing system of live arena than you do in Tag. Whereas bronze and silver are just kind of a mess where people just kind of bring whatever they can, try to win whatever they can with whatever they can. And since bronze, there's no way of going down, only up. The players that are in bronze can struggle as long as they need to until they get out. Once they get into silver, it starts getting a little more real. But honestly, once they get into silver is probably when they're in closer to that 60, 70 that you're worried about as far as the actual account level is concerned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to say that I don't understand what your concern is. I think what you're worried about is you're viewing a level 50 account at one level versus what you need to play the game, and then you're looking at top level arena and saying those below accounts can't play top level arena. Well, of course, that's why there's bronze.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I still feel like it's going to be too early. There's going to be problems, but we'll have to wait and see if Plarium actually releases this out with effort put into it. So.
Oh, besides, they've been doing Hydra for at least 5 levels. Come on.
I want to say most of the community is still probably doing hard or brutal, and they're probably 2 keying brutal and 1 key hard at best. I do know I haven't anybody that's reached out to me for a takeover hasn't even asked about Hydra because they're like, yeah, I'm not even touching that yet. Most of them
that's more of the joke is that Hydra unlocks I think at level 45.
Yeah,
and it's too early for doing Hydra right now, just even given with the nerfs that they've done of it. So the fact that this unlocks at 50, this is easier content to do than Hydra, because if you have 6 champs you can throw in Hydra, you have 6 champs for live arena.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. All right, let's keep going.
And it'll be open several times a day. Our first idea was to have this as an always-on feature, but in development, we found it caused problems finding matches quickly and reliably. So,
I just want to stop that there real quick. It sounds like someone in the Plarium office was doing their job and testing things. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know how they were testing it, because they said they were testing for the times. How do you test times when you don't have enough people to test for how the times are going to work for that? So I think the times are going to go away pretty quickly. They're just going to be out there for testing so that they have reasons to take it down when things don't work. And eventually they say, all right, everything's working and we have better buy-in than we thought we were going to. Go away the times, live arena is always open.
I guess that could be
At least that's my hope, because the current times they have right now are just not good.
Yeah. All right.
So, our plan is to open Live Arena on a set daily schedule, so we can ensure you won't have huge wait times when finding a
But I
match.
do like the 15-second
to make sure everything's working.
time.
Yeah, I do like that. That way you're not holding it, because it being a mobile game, I can't tell you how many times I come off my phone, I just kind of slide something else and I start doing it, and I forget that I'm doing a clan boss thing, or I forget I'm doing something, and it's just like sitting there, and I'm like, I come back 45 minutes later and I'm like, oh, I'm still opening that window. I can still continue my clan boss key. So that is a good thing.
Working correctly ahead of its grand opening, we'll be running a Live Arena test launch with a limited group of players. You can see
a limited group of players. I'm very intrigued to find out what the numbers for that is going to be and how they're going to go around going for it. Just throw a number out there. How many people do you think are going to be in the first alpha of this, Jay?
Honestly, I don't even know. They haven't even told us anything like an estimate, or they just I wouldn't be surprised if it was maybe some mods, maybe some tier 3s. But we have not gotten any information about that. They just said that they're going to have people doing it. So I don't know if it's selective or if it's random. Don't know. Don't know at all.
Well, I
I honestly
believe
think it should be like,
I believe that they said that it's going to be open to the player base, but to a selective few, like how Clan v Clan was in the beginning.
right, right.
Well, I mean, the selected few could easily be anyone who happens to be on during those times. Those times are perfectly fine for most people in Europe. You've got a morning, an afternoon, an evening time, certainly kind of in the middle of their workday, but they're not too bad.
Yeah, it is
You know,
only 6 hours throughout the day. I'd figure it'd be at least more like an every couple of hours, like 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 2 hours on, 2 hours off type of situation. I think that would have probably been a little bit better.
well, I'm and
Originally,
I'm in the central time zone too, so we're talking 5-6 hours off on all these things. So we're talking 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. and the late one is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So, unless I'm able to work in the morning and do some of the stuff in the morning, this isn't happening for me at all. So,
That is true. I didn't even think about the time wise converted for us, because I'm in the East Coast, so yeah, that's gonna be kind of tough.
sorry to interrupt you, Jay.
Go ahead, Jim. My bad.
yeah, that's okay. Originally they told us it was going to be like every 6 hours because like there's 24 hours in a day, right? So they wanted to split it 4 times a day. But now, from what it seems, is like they made it kind of close to each other. It's
That's
not that
the
far.
this is the test time as opposed to the once it's live. There's a different set of times.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay,
Oh,
okay.
is it? Let me see. I thought it was.
Schedule for this test
That's why it
on
says the
screen
test
now.
schedule.
As for the full launch,
Oh, it
here's
is.
the schedule on screen. Live Arena will open in
There we go.
2-hour
All
windows.
right. So
Okay, that's a lot better.
so you've got
Yeah.
midnight to 2 a.m. UTC, 6 to 8. What is that? 2 to 4, and then 8 to. So the last one's 8 to 10. I feel like we should have more. I feel like there needs to be another one in there somewhere.
And again, for East Coast, you're 4 to 5. I think you're 4 hours off at the moment because of daylight savings time. So
Yeah. Luckily, they're
couple
doing
of those
away
aren't
with
too
that
bad.
now.
Yeah, but a couple of those aren't too bad, and then some of them obviously are not great. But again, you're looking for worldwide.
Yeah.
Scratch and Etch actually did a video on this, and Scratch mentioned he'd prefer them doing like 1 hour on, 1 hour off.
I
Because-
agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. You get a solid 12 hours, 1 hour on, 1 hour off. I totally agree with that. What are your thoughts on it, Jay?
I mean, well, the times are a lot better for me now. I'm central time, and there's more time to do it. So I'm probably going to do it. One of them I'll be able to do while I'm streaming. So in like midstream, I'll probably be able to do it. But the other
Oh,
one I'd have to
snap.
probably wake up right in the morning.
One of them is actually going to be SmackDown when I'm streaming. Yeah, the 2 to 4 is going to be. Oh no, wait, because for me that would be 4 hours later. So yeah, never mind. So it'll be 4
yeah.
to
That's
6.
the problem with these 2 hour windows is even if it was the 1 hour off, 1 hour on is better than this because this is appointment range now. You must be available to play during one of these times during your day in order to play live arena.
Yeah, especially when
And
they've made it that you have to have a minimum of 5 fights a week now, right? So
is it 5 fights a week?
yeah, I think it was a minimum of 5 fights a week, or you get kicked back, or something like that. It says it further on in the video.
Yeah, there was some minimum number. I can't remember if it was one or whatever else, or if you didn't do one for 5 days or something like that. But yeah, whatever it is. Plus the quests are, how you're going to get these rewards in the first place if you can't actually play the version. That doesn't help much.
I wonder if they're going to do the daily quests like we have for everything else, or like 5 arena battles, if you're gonna have to do one of these or 2 of these a day.
I will say I don't know if how they've done this now with the coins or not, but if any of you have used the mobile app at all, the mobile app actually is patched already and shows the live arena keys.
Yep.
You can't do anything with them, but it shows them. And I've been slowly building them up, about 5 per day. I'm at 71 of them right now.
How have you been building them up?
I don't know. You build them up over time, apparently. So, and I thought it was supposed to be they refresh at refresh, but it looks like they're just kind of building up over time, closer to the regular arena keys, which is
I want to
fine.
take a look at this.
But it's actually part of the drop down. If you look up by where like the tag keys are.
You don't have it on this. Yeah, so we have to go on mobile, so that won't work. Never mind.
Yeah, it has to be mobile specifically. So
okay. It's like a top on the top right, like drop down and shows all
the
different resources.
I saw that part. Yeah. Okay.
I can send you a screenshot of it. We can post it in the video later whenever you run this. But
yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
But yeah, it's kind of nice. It's out of X out of 75, and it was like 30 something a couple days ago. Yesterday it was at 70 something.
I wonder if they're gonna take those away though once the patch goes through.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give you a full start and fresh them in the first place. But the fact that you can build up to multiple over multiple days is kind of nice, because if they do it on a weekly basis, you're not forced on a daily basis to have to participate in live arena, as long as you can get a couple of fights in here and there throughout the week. So from that perspective, that's nice. Yeah. But these times are just right now you're asking for people to make appointment raid. And if you're asking for people to commit to being able to do this at certain times rather than pick it up and play it whenever they want to, that's not going to appeal to casual players. Casual players who are just picking it up are going to want to do whatever they want to do, which is probably not live arena. And if they do want live arena, they won't be able to do it.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Which should give you more than enough time to get your battles in. Remember, the full launch schedule is subject to change, and we'll of course let you know if and
I'm
when
glad that
it
they
does.
decided that it
Enough
might
talk.
change.
How do I start fighting? Like Classic or Tag Arena? Initiating a live arena.
They'll always say things might change, because that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
Token.
Oh, okay. Maybe those aren't live arena tokens that I've got built up then. There's a different currency that's built up that I have no idea what it is that's sitting around somewhere.
Oh, are you talking about? Because there's like a little gold one.
Yes, it's like a gold cross swords thing.
Yeah, I believe that those are just your keys. Like if you click on it, if you're mobile and you click on it, it'll give a drop down and it'll show you all the rest of the keys for everything you have done for the day, like your faction war keys and all that stuff. Yeah, I did notice that. I don't like you can't do it on PC, but I did notice it on mobile, because if you click on it, it'll bring you down all of your Tag Team Arena ones, all of your refills for regular arena, your clan boss keys, your Hydra keys, and all that stuff.
Okay, so that is just there's 75 keys available of all kinds, and if you want to see which ones specifically, then okay, exactly. That makes a little more sense then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say, I was like, there's no way that they would release that this early and we wouldn't catch on to it. Because everybody.
And it's a great feature too. I like that feature. It's nice. It's a visual improvement we weren't even planned in the first place.
Yeah.
On a side note, I don't know when this is actually getting released, but that is a good indicator that the patch is imminently coming for PC as well, that it's already on the mobile device.
So you can see here a little bit of the rewards. And I mean, you've got at 910, you've got an energy refill. 920, you got an XP. 930, you've got 100k silver. And it looks like this is gold. I don't know, man. A 3-star chicken in gold arena, I'd be like, what's it gonna do for me?
Well, it depends on if gold arena is a ranking number. That's a bronze ranking number then. So
yeah,
because 940 is a bronze ranking. If it starts, especially if it starts at 0, and then silver is silver might be 1,000, and then gold might be 2,000 plus. Or I don't know what the breakdown is going to be, but
that's true. Well, it says 1 out of 11. Rewards. Yeah, 1 out of 11. I was just going to mention that. So maybe, who knows? I don't know. I'm just not like I feel like all they've been doing with the rewards lately is just being really lazy, and I'm not trying to bash them because I know people have been really complaining about the rewards, and it's just like I'm getting 9,000 points in champion training, and I get a gold chest that could contain one out of any 9 things up there, and it's like, well, why? What? Give me my epic book back, that I had, or give me my legendary book. Don't give me a chance to get something else. Don't add an extra layer of RNG for me. It's just,
I mean, Polarium points were a good example of that, and they've noticed they've kind of pulled Polarium points out of most of those rewards again. So that's progress, I guess.
Plarium points? Oh, you mean the
The,
Plarium pay points?
Yeah.
The pay points. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Each new refill will cost more than the last one, though both the refill price and your default live arena tokens reset each day at midnight UTC.
So yeah, and the buying more
So your
tokens like that,
are
that's a
burning
standard feature you already have. You already can do that with regular key arena tokens. You can already do that with 3v3 tokens, and since 3v3 tokens are limited per day, it makes sense they're doing the per day increasing purchase for those.
Yeah.
So
Although at the rate that they're going with the times, I don't know if you'll be able to do more than the 5. But we'll have to wait and see.
in your pocket. Let's get to the juicy PvP fun. Once you
yeah,
hit
you
the
see, in
find
fact, you can
opponent
see here,
button,
this is guy is in bronze, and it says he was at 900 out of 945. So those milestone rewards are the bronze rewards. So
Okay. That's good. That's good.
3-star chicken in bronze makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. I'd be really pissed. This up here, though, you need to have 35 wins to get a chest. There better be some hell of rewards in there.
Well, those are the chests
Like
that they're talking
600k
about.
silver.
Yeah.
What did you say, Jay?
600k silver.
600k silver. So his channel is JR Star 3. Make sure you go there and unsubscribe just for that comment. No, I'm joking. Actually, make sure you go to both of these guys' channels. I'll put them in the description below. Give them a sub. It doesn't cost anything, guys. They're great content creators, and they're out there putting stuff for the community to entertain everybody. So make sure you guys go and follow them both on Twitch and YouTube. So go ahead, Brunt.
Yeah, that is the chest that I believe has the new Zeal set and the other set.
Okay.
I forget the name of them, but I think that's what those chests are. So as much as 35 wins seems like it's kind of rough, if you get 5 pieces of top end gear, that's worth grinding. And if you can get those even in bronze, that's amazing.
Yeah. I if it is for the gear, then yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But all right.
Find opponent button. The game will find a worthy combatant of a similar skill level within your current live arena tier. To make matchmaking as fair as possible, matches are found based on both your average and most recent performance data. Once you're matched with a...
So, most recent performance data.
What they mean by that is they will track both what is your current ranking in arena and what is your past 10, 20, 30 fights, or your fights over the past couple of weeks. What are your results been? So if you're on a backslide where you've lost your last 10 fights, you will probably start getting easier fights than your ranking might indicate otherwise. At least is kind of what I get from that.
So what's stopping me from wanting to fill up my grade hall and saying, you know what, I'm going to stick in silver because I know the guys in gold are going to be too hard and I can beat anybody in silver?
Nothing other than it means you're probably going to have to tank fights occasionally when you get yourself too high in silver into gold. So unlike regular arena where you can tank by putting in a bad defense, there's no easy way to tank in live arena. Live arena matches just happen. But so you have in order to backslide, you have to simply stop playing entirely, which means you're not farming, or you need to start losing intentionally battles, which is perfectly fine. But
but I mean, in gold arena right now, I can put a 1-man defense, and if I lose more than 10 battles a day, I'm not going to drop. I can just farm those back up with my 20 refills.
Yeah, but again, you can passively drop. So even if, yes, you can only drop so much in gold, which is why everyone's in gold 4, gold 5 at this point in time. But
Yeah.
you can passively drop. So if you go back to what it was before they limited how far you could drop, that's a better indicator of generally how that type of arena works. And then in live arena, you can't do that because it's not like you can put an automatic live defense, because that's the point of live arena.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
Suitable opponent, you're on to the first phase of battle. This is where you pick your champions and where the mind games truly begin. A coin flip decides who picks first, and then each player takes a turn picking champions from their roster.
It's not a coin flip, it's RNG.
Well, yeah, but it's the same thing. It is a
Um,
snake draft, though, which is interesting because that means that the first person picks 1, next person gets 2, and then 2, and then 2, and then 1. So that is good to plan for, particularly because sometimes your first pick, if you're looking for a pair of champs, the only way to get that pair of champs will be to have 2 picks in a row. So you're not going to want to pick Taurus if you want Taurus and Marichka as your absolute first pick if you get first pick.
so it looks like we're gonna get a minute combined between both players to pick. Now, what I could see what's gonna happen in the beginning is I'm gonna pick my first champion and then I'm gonna stall and let the game pick my other champs. Now the question
You're
is,
assuming the game will let you pick other champs. If you time out on this, you might actually forfeit.
so I think, let me see here real quick.
Both players go back and forth until they both have a team of 5.
Because they did. That's one thing I don't think they've actually said what happens if you drop out during the pick phase.
I think they say it right here.
The opposing team. That means that champion won't be taking part in the battle, bringing teams down to 4. In bronze and silver tiers, you can use duplicate champions.
In bronze and silver tiers, you can use duplicate champions. Once you hit gold, though, all champion picks must be unique across both teams.
Duplicate champions at all.
Okay, so there's the confirmation that we're not gonna be able to pick the dupes, which is going to be oof.
It's gonna be tough because like
deviant.
I'm already thinking like, okay, cool, someone goes arbiter first, right? And you're like, I can't use my go first team and I don't have any other speed lead. Then you're like, all right, cool, I can just use my cardinal comp, which is a go second team. But if you don't get a chance to pick that one because maybe you don't choose it first, then they can have both, and now you have no go first or no go second. That can get kind of intense, yeah. But
Yeah.
This also brings in the strategy of the fake out. I was actually talking with another content creator, Educated Potato, about this. He was thinking that Tormund, for example, might actually be a really good pick. Not because you actually ever want Tormund, but people that can't deal with Tormund are going to instantly ban him because he can really wreck your team if you're not set up for it, which means you can take the other 4 champions you want and possibly roll over there. So Tormund's is one of those interesting examples. Hegemon might be another champion that might make his way back in the meta, because if you don't know how a team to deal with Hegemon, he becomes a nuisance. Champions like that have become counterable, but you have to bring the right champs to counter them. They can be ones you can bring in to force people to ban that particular champ. And that's the mind games of this.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. And you're gonna have to kind of look over your account and look at your strengths and weaknesses, what you can and cannot deal with, and then always have a backup plan. Like for this, let's say I was in this scenario, he's got the Hedgie. I know my first pick is gonna be a Rotos, but do I pick him first? Do I pick him second? And then the question is, okay, if he bans him, then where do I have my win condition? Because that's the Brogni would be good if you have him in a shield set, or it'll help you, but it's gonna be a lot of games.
You know what's even more crazier? Normally in tag team arena, you as the player get to choose where the position of where you want to put your champions. Picking the champions in different spots is gonna be like giga brain, because like you have to like, not only do you have to like psych the other person, but then if you have a certain comp you want to play and that requires you to have your champions in a specific position, you
like
also have to hope that they
like the bomb team.
Well, just like Vogoth, who has to be in the 4th position to be effective.
Exactly. You put Seeker in the lead. You put Sandlash in the second. You know, like certain I've done videos on this. We've talked about positioning for a long time, but now with this, you don't really get to choose, guaranteed where you want to be. Now it's kind of like random, but you also have to like play mind games of what they might be banning, but you have to think ahead of, well, they banned this, and maybe now I can use this team that is a position team, which gives me more benefit. Like, oh, it's just that part right there just kind of blew my mind a little bit, because I'm like, what? A lot of people, they'll take position to an account, right? Maybe they'll put their nuker in the back, or they'll put maybe a reviver. But now you have to really, really think where you're putting the champions, because you can lose benefit off of that.
Right.
Yeah, sheep is another example of the positioning system being important.
Exactly.
Because you want your sheep people as early as possible to have as much chance to get sheep triggered before it gets to the people you don't want sheeped.
Right.
Exactly.
It sounds like maybe sheep is going to be on every single champion.
It already is, but, it's
Yeah. But I do think
Use tricks during this phase. Conceal your intended strategy. Pick decoy champions.
And to be fair, when I say it already is if you're in high-end gold 5 or beyond. Because it's not near as problem in lower gold 4. So you're not going to, outside of the first week or two where people are climbing up, you're not going to find a lot of sheep in silver and bronze in live arena either.
Yeah,
probably.
that's true.
Table for your opponent. The possibilities are endless. Just be aware that these same tricks are being used against you. Finally, each player selects their team leader. As with all other game modes,
it looks like it resets, so you get a full minute to select your champions. So, because if I back up here, right, go back, he's got a minute, and it resets once he picks. So it looks like you're going to have a minute.
I think it's a minute to make any picks you're supposed to make, which I wonder if that's going to drive them to finally make a search system of some kind.
So you can see here, like, it reset after this guy picked.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a finalization stage.
Yeah.
But,
the team leader's aura skill will empower the rest of your champions, so choose carefully. Don't take too long considering your strategy. Each of these phases has a time limit, and the game will decide for you.
What's funny?
See, this is what I was saying, is I could sit there and I could stall, let it pick whatever, and then kind of screw with you, I guess. I don't know.
I think the timer is per person and per pick section, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Because the idea of the timer is to force you to do something on your end, not to allow you to screw somebody else.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
And if that's the case, it's going to change real quickly.
Yeah. You were going to say something, Jay?
No, I was just thinking, like, in my head, I was like, the amount of time, I truly believe, for me, not for like the average player, but for me, even like when I'm, high gold 5 in plat, like, low gold plat, most of my fights are like 30 minutes to a minute and a half. I think I'll be spending more time selecting my champions than actually beating them.
Yeah. Yeah, it may be a possibility. Although I do find it interesting that they gave it a 30-minute time frame to have the battle.
That's awfully long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're fighting for 30 minutes, I'm just gonna get pissed off and aggravated and say, forget this, I'm out of here, I'll take the L.
And that's what some people may be hoping for, as I think I alluded to earlier, that some people may view as a win condition to make you quit the game.
Yeah. So
but at the same time, those people that are trying to speed farm, they're going to hate that tactic as well. So I don't know how many people are going to be just as willing to say, screw it, I'll give up this key and just get out of here because it's not worth my time grinding this out for whatever too. So
yeah, so that may be a strategy. Maybe a stall 30 minutes, but at the same time, like, trying to fit the battles in there. Maybe when you're in like gold 5 in this ranking, it might make sense to do something like that to agitate the other opponent and get them to quit. But
it'll be interesting too what kind of quests they're talking about, because like right now arena quests are build a team with all one faction.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to really suck in live arena.
Oh yeah.
Or build a team with all affinities. Are they going to be a ban a demon lord or son or whatever? And it's like, well, that's great, but what happens if my teams never bring a demon spawn? How come I can't ban them or something like that?
Right, right.
It's going to be really interesting what kind of missions. Hopefully they're not going to be a big variety. It's going to be more of just doing enough of this stuff to get certain things, or maybe collect 3 wins this week, or
Yeah.
play in 10 battles. We don't care if you win or not. Play in 10 battles and you get this award. So
out. Once the teams are locked in, it's time to battle. In terms of the battles
another
themselves,
cool looking
there's no
arena.
mechanical difference between
agreed.
Live Arena and Classic Arena. The turn order of champions is determined by their speed
It's
stat
kind of
and
nice to see things
various turn
Shadowkin oriented too,
manipulation
which is kind of
skills.
the feeling I
And
get from
each
this.
champion takes a turn and uses skills like they always do. But while the mechanics may be the same, you're now fighting a real human instead of an AI. So be prepared for anything. Watch the clock when shooting.
I don't think that's going to change much, because I mean, we all are, especially if you're pushing arena, you kind of already know what everybody's abilities is. So it's kind of the same. I mean,
well, it's also your champions, so it's not like they're asking you to know the other team's champions to use them. It's champions you already have, so hopefully you should know them well enough to be able to use them in a 15-second window.
Yeah, but when it said like be prepared for anything, like you really can't, because you already know what your opponents are gonna do, and that's why you strategically pick who you want to ban. But yeah.
Using your skills, you've got 15 seconds to make your choice. If you
You'd
don't
be
decide in
surprised. I
time,
was
well, the game will.
talking with some folks last night. One of them got stunned by a Trunda, and he lost the fight because he got stunned by a Trunda, and his complaint was, "Dang it, I lost that fight because your build is terrible." But it throws in there that sometimes people can build all kinds of weird things that you can't expect. I've heard people talking about building Nuker Surgas because she can actually smack pretty well, and who's going to ban an Surga because over other champs that are doing damage. But
that's going to be my first band. That's going to be my first band. I can tell. I hate Ursuga. I hate her. Stoneskin. Ugh.
Fail to take your turn 3 times in a row, and you'll go into auto battle mode until you assume direct control. There's an overall time limit for every battle, too. Fail to finish within 30 minutes, and both players will be credited.
Yeah, I think that time limit of 30 minutes is probably going to drop down to 15 once they've realized that people, hopefully most battles take less than 10. And if they can drop it down to 15 because only like 5% of the battles take longer than 15 minutes, I think that'll be a godsend for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, I think 15 minutes would be a good marker for them. I think 30 minutes is way too long, because you just won't be able to get all your battles in.
Any live arena battles as you can while it's open. Now let's take a look at why you'll want to play live arena. As if the thrill of testing yourself against real people wasn't enough, winning live arena battles gets you live arena points and live arena crests. We'll go on to crests in a minute.
Okay,
as for points,
just obviously that's bronze 1, so who knows what's going on, but you won 20 medals from that too, so that's good that it's not winning 4 per. It's actually significantly more than you were winning from Classic Arena. That was one of the other things I was worried about with the rewards, and obviously that's still test footage too, but it's really going to suck when you're only winning 5 medals and you have to grind to 500 to 1,000 medals of something per fight.
Hey Nick, how you doing?
Earning these will see you advance through the different live arena tiers, from bronze to gold. For now, there's no...
I think for this, it's going to be based a lot like how 3v3 points are. Or at least that's what it looks like.
Platinum tier. Once you reach silver 1, losing battles will lose you points. If you don't fight at least one...
Did he just say platinum tier?
A platinum tier, they said, is eventually coming, but not right away.
All right. I was like, wait, what?
One live arena battle for 5 days.
I would not be surprised if they eventually take Classic Arena and move the Platinum to live arena, because I think that's what players are kind of looking for.
I think that would be great, honestly. Once they fix it, I think that would be great.
The problem is that then people are not going to care about Classic Arena much at all. So, because the rewards are just not particularly good other than your Great Hall.
Right, but let's be serious now. Plat Arena is an end game content. It's the I had Seth on the channel last night, who's my clan leader, and you know, he spends most of his times throughout the week doing his dailies and stuff, but he doesn't really get much enjoyment unless it's like the last 15, 20 minutes of him pushing Plat Arena. And that's like, and that's kind of a commitment. Like he's getting up at like, I think it's like 3 o'clock his time to be able to do that. You know, if I'm early to mid game player, I'm not gonna care about Arena or Plat Arena as much. You know, that's literally the top of the tier, and I think it's fine if you have 1 through 5. If you have silver, bronze, silver, gold, 1 through 5, whatever, for regular arena, and then you move this, because then if you move platinum arena into live arena, then you're giving multiple players the chance to be able to play. That's going to be able, you know, because I can't really push, and I know you guys. For you, Jay, I know it's like what, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning to get up.
Yeah.
You know, it's the
3 in
same
the
thing for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it would be easier for me if it was like during my lunch break at like 12 o'clock, like it is for somebody in England or something, where they push Plat Arena then, and I'll be like, yep, let's go. I can do that. No problem.
Yeah, not only that, but because of the synchronous nature of it, where you can only drop if you're playing. Technically, my plat push can start on Monday, even if the goal is to be as high as possible on Sunday. The plat push starts on Monday, and I'm grinding as many fights as I possibly can. But I may get myself to a point where, hey, look, I'm number 1 in plat. I'm not going to deal with any more fights, because if I don't do any more fights, I can't lose them either, which I know sounds boring, but it means that there's a chance to leave and wait for reset to happen as a viable strategy in platinum, as much as the actual platinum last 15 minutes, because everyone's scrambling to get as many points as they can.
You want to be my driver, Nick? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that being done. You know.
I mean, we'll see too. They may not get rid of Plat Arena as it is too, but the Plat Arena, this classic Plat Arena, has needed a rotating end time for ages.
Yeah.
To allow other people in other countries to give it a try. It's just, and until they do something like that, at least the live arena one is something else.
I agree.
But they're different. They're different things. Classic arena versus platinum arena. They're classic arena versus live arena. Definitely an entirely different thing. Now, to be fair, classic arena versus platinum classic arena is also entirely different, but for different reasons.
Right.
Until you fight another battle. There are also repeatable live arena quests that give you various rewards, including a live arena token refill and new artifacts. On top of that, we have multiple one-time rewards for reaching certain point milestones, ranging from a fancy...
So we get avatars, milestone 8. We get a sacred shard, looks like 2 legendary books, the new champion, 1 million silver. I don't know.
Yeah, for the most part, those look like tiered rewards should. Not everyone on every tier is amazing, but for the most part, they're solid. 400 gems, no one's going to complain about 400 gems. A legendary book, fine. Even 2 epic books, unless you're an ultra endgame player where epic books aren't worthwhile, 2 epic books is still a solid reward.
I guess, yeah.
Fancy new avatar to even a legendary champion. Speaking of artifacts, let's pause and take a closer look at the new sets available from Live Arena.
Okay, see, there's a Live Arena gold chest may drop. So these things are available in those chests for 35 wins.
So Impulse set, 4-piece set, 12% speed or 12 speed and 30% chance to reduce damage, skill cooldown. So basically, what is it? Defiant set.
It's a reflex set
reflex
speed set.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is slightly worse than reflex. Reflex is a 40% chance. This is only a 30, but you get plus 12 speed on top of it too. So while I don't think this is going to replace reflex in some situations where the reflex is absolutely crucial, this is still a very usable and viable set everywhere.
It's going to be, yeah, I think for PvE purposes, I can't see it for PvP.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to worry about cooldowns in PvP. You want to have people dead before the cooldowns matter.
Yeah.
increase your champion's speed and provide a chance of reducing the cooldown of a random skill by 1 turn.
Actually, I could see this
It's a
still being
great
useful in PvP because impulse and reflex is one of the ways you can actually counter some of the lockout champs. Not the best way to do it, but it is a way to counter a lockout champ.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
set for nukers, healers, pretty much anyone with skills you want to use as often as possible. Then we have Zeal artifacts. They increase the champion's critical damage by 25%.
That's interesting.
And
So
Jay, what do you think about the skill set?
I knew when I first saw it, I was like, whoa. I was like, that looks sick. And luckily, Sheeny did a video explaining the difference between like Zeal and Savage. And I knew it was going to be like in some situations, certain situations, it's going to be really, especially with the new champion, right? What's his name? Quintus the Triumphant.
Mhm.
Like, if you look at his passive, which is percussion, right? Each champion skills deals pure damage. Imagine this stacked with that. I was just like, that sounds nutty. So I think it's going to be very interesting in certain champs that are going to want to use Zeal, but I think still overall, I think most players are still going to use Lethal, Instinct, and Savage and stuff like that. But this is also another good new option if you don't have any good, you can't farm hard Doom Tower, you can't get yourself some good Lethal, or maybe you're getting bad rolls, or you don't buy the Forge Pass. This could be another way if you have Savage and you want another damage set. I think this is something unique as well that players can have.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that this, I think, might be a superior set to Savage in Clan Boss, for example, because Clan Boss, there's not as much defense on the Clan Boss as you might think otherwise. So giving myself an extra 15% damage, we'll just make that an average for Clan Boss. Obviously, Clan Boss is going to depend on when you hit the Clan Boss as well, how much damage extra that's going to cause.
right. So if you hit
It's
them during
useful for the
beginning of day,
champions
it'll
where you
be
don't.
better.
It's useful for the champions you're not actually going for the ignore damage. So like Turvold, who's been used to counter Harima. Well, this is great for Turvold because I don't care if he's in Savage. Suddenly I have a set that doesn't revolve around that, so it's an anti-Harima from that end. Baron, who's already ignoring 50% of the defense. Well, maybe an extra 25% damage, or this, yeah, I think it's 20. No, it goes up to 30%. So it goes all the way up to 30% if they have not been touched yet. So 30% extra damage flat when I'm already ignoring 50% defense could be better than ignoring 75% defense. There's situations and champions where Zeal will be useful, but at the same time, it is not going to be as universal as Savage. Savage is universally generically better in most situations. Zeal is more situational, but when it's useful, it's useful.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be a very niche set on particular champions because again, it's only gonna be good for like a go second team. Like if you're well, maybe on a go first team.
Well, the other problem you're going to have with this set too is the same problem you currently have with like Killstroke. Killstroke's a great set, definitely a great set, top tier. Who has any Killstroke? Because it's barely been offered in the clan shop.
Yeah.
So if you get enough of it to actually fit it on somebody, and Killstroke's only a 2-piece set. Zeal's a 4-piece set. The other one is a 4-piece set as well. If you're going to have to farm live arena for months to get this, and to be fair, that's kind of what we had to do for Hydra. Those sets, needed to be 4-piece to start getting the cool stuff, and that took a while for us to get. At least those pieces were 1 set piece does one thing, 2 set does another thing, 3 set does another thing, so you could kind of build up to it.
Right.
But if this is going to be difficult to farm to where you're going to struggle to get more than about 3 pieces a week, it's going to be a long time before that ever shows up. And a lot of people are just going to start throwing it away because they're not going to want to spend that much time building up for something that's very niche.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't. It's not a set that I'm looking forward to. I can say that much.
have them dealing more
Totally
damage
fair.
if their target still has high HP. It should give your attackers and nukers a little extra punch to take down champions in one shot. Both these sets will be available in the reward chests you get for winning 35 live arena battles. This is a regular quest, so you'll be able to farm these artifacts.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces in there. Some 5 stars, which kind of sucks, but I know that's just kind of Polarium's MO, is that some of that stuff's going to be 5-star.
Right.
So it really depends on how often you can get 35 wins. If you can get 35 wins once a week and get one of those chests, it'll, take you 6 months before you have enough of that gear to maybe build one set.
Yeah, I'm not interested in it at all, honestly. Like, I'm sure it's going to get fixed, eventually.
Well, you
Finally.
say that, but look at the chests we're getting in Arena at the moment.
Those are
Right.
horrible.
Yeah. You're right.
Let's return to those shiny Live Arena crests. You can spend the crests you win in Live Arena battles to unlock area bonuses in the Great Hall. Here's how they work. Live Arena crests come in bronze, silver, and gold, just like classic Arena medals. The first 3 levels of any
Although it
area
looks like there's a
bonus are
chest you can
upgraded
also
with
get
bronze crest.
at the end of the week too. So it's possible if you can earn extra chests in addition to the end of the week chests, that may make it a little bit better. So you're getting at least 1, possibly 2 or 3 chests a week if you're actually grinding out 35 wins.
So level 1's
Here we
gonna
go.
be 5 battles. You'll get a level 1. 15, 30. Wow, that's gonna be a lot. Yeah, it's gonna be a.
But that's the grade 3. If you keep on going a little bit further, you'll see it'll click on grade 2, and those will get cut in half.
Levels 4 to 6 need silver, and everything else needs gold. You can also use higher tier crest to unlock lower tier bonuses.
I'll see right here though. It's telling me
Well,
it's all 100.
That's interesting. There is not a conversion drop for it. That's bad, actually.
Just like with classic arena medals. You might also notice
They
that
say
with
just
the
like classic arena modes, though, because in classic arena, platinum or gold are worth 4 bronze and 2 silver. So
Yeah, I think that there's going to be an uprising about that. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I'll give them the display error on that, just like the 3x.
Introduction of area bonuses. The old bonuses earned by spending arena medals have had a name change. These are now called affinity bonuses because, as the name suggests, they boost the stats of champions of a specific affinity. We'll give you 3 guesses as to what area bonuses do. That's right. They boost the stats of any
potions are the
champion,
only one,
but only
which
in
makes
specific
sense.
locations. For example,
And hopefully they are
upgrading the
half
attack
as much.
bonus
Yeah,
slot in the
so
potion keeps row
potions
will,
there.
you
Yeah,
guessed
they
it.
are. Okay. Because it was 100 on the tier 3 for level 1. It's only 25 on tier 1.
Yeah. So I wonder if each one is going to have different. No,
Well, grade 2 is double. I think if you go a little further, it'll show you grade 2.
Okay.
Increase your champion's attack when fighting in the potion keeps. Area bonuses will also
That's
give
grade
you the
3. Okay, but see, grade 3 is 100 versus 25. Grade 2 is in the middle of those two, so it's 50, 150,
Yeah, but I think
300.
this is for Hydra because you see, grade 2 is.
That's what I said. The Hydra's grade 3, so you're seeing the totals for grade 3 is 100, 300, 600, etc., all the way to 2,000. Grade 2 is going to be 50 all the way to 1,000. It'll actually, if we get to one, it'll show you.
Yeah, but
So
I think
grade 2
that's only
half as
per
much.
dungeon. So I think they
Yes.
increase it for Hydra. I don't like that. I think it should be a standard for all of them.
Hydra is
Option to
technically
accrete.
more influential than Spider's Den, just like Clan Boss
Yeah.
is, because it
Your
is.
champion's speed, and even give them the
But that
ability
said,
to ignore a
in my endgame account, other than Fire Knight, it's going to be all Hydra to start with, because Hydra is where everything's at. They're going to eventually have another head or 2 is supposed to come out sometime soon.
Yeah.
I say supposed to come out soon. That was supposed to be last year at some point, but I'll give them some slack.
enemy.
The Thunderhead.
Okay, Thunderhead. And then there's on top of that another, what is it? There's supposed to be another difficulty level coming to Hydra at some point in time.
Ultra
They talked
Nightmare,
about it.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
defense. Remember the hard
and then on
mode
top of that,
dungeons?
Fire Knight is just gross right now. Hard Fire Knight.
Yeah, I think everyone's gonna be going hard on their Fire Knight.
Yeah,
in
I think
terms
so.
Of, the area bonuses.
I think that's why they haven't nerfed it, is because they want to see what people are going to do with their area bonuses once those come out.
Yeah.
As we talked about in the previous What's Next
It's also
Array
kind of
episode,
interesting to see what the bonuses are. We can kind of assume what the stat bonuses are going to be, but speed, ignore defense are both options.
Yeah.
So, from that perspective, that's something we're going to have to look at too. And of course, that's actually the fun thing too, because I can see a ton of people saying, "Oh boy, I want this ignore defense. That's really cool." Buy a bunch of ignore defense on Spider and break their team because their team actually needs champs to not do damage.
Yeah.
Area bonuses will be a huge help in farming those locations. And the best thing? Area bonuses apply to a champion's base stat directly, just like affinity bonuses. Add all these bonuses together, and you'll be super strong when fighting in certain locations.
Yeah, that interchangeable one for one for the lower to higher.
Okay, that's all there is to tell about Live Arena for now. We can't wait to see the changes to Raid's PvP scene, and we hope you all have a blast. We want to add a few things in future iterations.
Just notice it's gonna be like the Great Hall. People are. I don't want to get on people's accounts and just when they go like straight like attack or straight crit damage, you're like, dude, you didn't go accuracy. I could just imagine getting onto people's accounts and area bonuses, and they go just straight like resist or straight HP, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna give me.
Yeah,
I can just already tell.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mess of things. So we'll take a minute each to kind of go through the video, and so all I have to say is I hope that they do enough testing on this in advance before they release it. That way, we don't have these issues, because it's going to be a mess. I don't like, again, they've been very not deceiving, but they haven't been the greatest at putting things out. Like you said, Brunt, about the 3x. So it looks like maybe the conversion may not be there. I don't like that, because will it mean that I have to farm up 500 gold bars to make 500 silver ones? I don't like that idea. Overall, I'm excited, but I'm also concerned that they're going to screw this up and it's not going to be fixed right away. I think one of our viewers earlier mentioned that it took him 3 years. Yeah. Zardas said it took him 3 years to fix regular arena. And I think it's probably going to take him that long, if not more, to fix live arena. So I'll hand it over to Brunt first.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things, we're obviously talking about it, so we're complaining about things, because that's ultimately what happens when people get together, they start complaining about things. But I think there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of good things I'm seeing there. The milestone rewards look generally interesting. The new sets look, even if the new sets are not overpowered, the new sets are interesting enough that they bring an interesting dynamic to the game, and they're not like the old arena sets where, oh boy, I get a shield on top of bad stats that I didn't really care for in the first place, like your divine whatever sets. And they're not like the swift parry or the other ones that only are in the platinum chest as well. So they've brought something new, and they've actually brought interesting new sets in there, even if they're not going to be all around OP or all around the best set in slot every time. But that's at least something interesting to farm, and another way to farm gear outside of difficult dungeons or Forge Pass or anything like that. It really, whether or not it will succeed, will really come down to how critical the times are, or how fast they roll back the time restrictions for it, as well as how difficult it will end up being for both new accounts to get into it and old accounts to get into it where it's actually exciting for them. So first, I honestly will probably suggest throw out the first 2 weeks of feedback entirely, because that's when you're going to have situations where account like mine, where I'm fairly endgame, are going to randomly go up against some poor guy because I'm doing my first fight in bronze and so is he, and I'm just going to maul the poor guy, and there's not much I can do about it.
Yeah, I think
2
the
weeks
first week.
past that, I'll climb out of bronze into silver, maybe even into gold, and be fighting people that are closer to what I should be fighting in the first place. But that's how the matchmaking is going to have to kind of roll out. I would also not be surprised if, when they roll it out, they don't simply take some of the accounts, hey, look, you've been active in Gold 5 for the past 2 months. We're just going to stick you in Gold 1 and start with it. I think that would actually be a wise way to handle it versus, you know, everybody goes into bronze. Or maybe even just skip bronze for some people. You know, if you have an established account that's sitting in gold, we're just going to put you in, we're going to start everybody from there into silver. If you haven't gotten into gold, then you start all the way in bronze and have to earn your way up.
Yeah.
That way you're still not jumping everybody into gold, but you're at least separating some of the new accounts versus the old accounts.
Yeah. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Oh, there's a lot of different things. I'd have to say they've learned a lot. They've definitely they've messed up a lot, like in the past. And sometimes they shoot themselves in the foot. Sometimes they listen. Sometimes they don't. But overall, in the past, 3.5 years that I've basically played this game, I've seen them evolve. Switching CEOs, changing the arena multiple times. Now it's kind of like, no one respects Gold 5 because everyone either Gold 4 or Gold 5. But I think this will be another good indicator of showing where you are in your account. And I like it. I think it's another good move that should have been there, of course. Should have been there earlier, but because of the war. But it's going to be something good for everybody. More resources for free is good. Why, something else to do in the game, especially since a lot of players who are in game only care about PvP. This is something else to give you something to come back if you don't, because everything I do in the game is, just auto. Like I mean, I do Hydra. That's the only thing that's manual, but everything is auto. I don't really get the fascination or even like wanting to do certain, like, maybe Sand Devil, or everything is just done. Like, so it's like I sometimes I used to sit on my account like 7 hours, but since it's a resource based game, if you're only not spending in the game, even as an end game player, you can only play so much. You can only do so much. So this is something else where it gives us a little bit more time to invest, and some people might not like that, right? Because they don't have enough time. But personally, it's like, it's a gotcha game. It's not going to be a quick game. You're not going to expect to do an hour and just get out. I mean, if that's the
No.
case, you go play a league match and play one match and get out as well. Um, but I love the fact that you can get new reflex gear because people don't want to farm Ice Golem. Like, let's be honest, I don't want to spend my energy there no more.
I love Ice Golem. I don't know
towards-
what people's problem with it is.
Ice Column has several underrated sets, but the problem
Yeah,
is it's got the
yeah.
early sets, which nobody wants anymore, and it's got the late sets that are only good once you're in endgame content. So,
Exactly.
So it's one of these weird dungeons where, because it has both early and endgame, no one really wants to farm it because it never suits anybody's needs until a certain point.
Yeah. So in terms of, your investment back in terms of energy and time, does it really pay you back out? I feel like Live Arena will give you not only resources, but you're also getting gear, and you're also moving towards getting another champion as well. So you're getting three things by doing one area. I go do Ice Golem overnight, I could probably get one good piece or none. So that's why I think Live Arena is going to be something good for the game as a whole, because it adds a little bit more depth and very new concepts, more content, of course, as a content creator, talking about more different stuff. Because I came in as a tag team arena content creator, right? And they wanted 3 new people to come in. None of them who came in through the contest have stayed doing that content. So this could be something that where, new people could come into the game, like new content creators, right? We've been shutting them out every single week, but I think it's a whole new way to get new people to come into the game. Maybe they left the game, come back. There's a whole new way to get new players back in, or people keeping people playing, because a lot of people are thinking about leaving, right? So I think overall it's a good thing. I would give it like a 9 out of 10, but let's see how it launches, because they did the whole beta with TTA or CVC, and both of those had very bad negative right in the first week or two. So let's see what they do overall. But I'm hyped for it, and honestly, I think it's going to be good throughout all ranks, right? Because they already kind of thought about that ahead of time. Now, if they're going to add a platinum, I don't know. I don't think they should yet anytime soon, but we'll see.
No. All right. So, we went a little bit over what I was expecting to do with the Live Arena stuff. But now
What content creators being bad with time management? Nah.
We are on a viewer's account, and this viewer is Steven. Steven is he's gone through and watched every one of my videos, all the way from way in the back before I had a camera, a voice, or anything, where it was like 2-minute videos, and then has watched everything up until now, watches all the live streams, comments on everything, shows a lot of support to the channel, and I can't thank him enough for it. And so he's given us his account to be able to look through and kind of start more with an account coaching. I feel like this needs to actually be an account roasting. The first thing I see here is 348,000 energy. Steven, my man, what are you doing? What are you doing? 348,000 energy, almost 49. Do you farm anything? I mean,
and that's one of these things too. If he is one of these people that buys a lot of energy, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with
not a
putting away
spender.
on energy.
He's not a spender at all.
What?
He's not a spender. He just saves.
Then yeah, you need to spend stuff, dude. But I can't remember the calculations, but it's like I think you get 480 energy or somewhere. You get effectively 4 refills of energy a day just from having energy refill. So if you are sitting above 130, you are possibly wasting 3 refills as a free-to-play player just in energy wasting. And it's one thing to like, okay, I hit 130 and I couldn't play for 3 hours, so I missed a little bit of regeneration there. It's another thing to go for days on end where you're not regenerating energy at all, because that's refill after refill after refill. So
let me actually confirm. Steven, you are free to play, correct? Or are you just like a light spender? Because I'm looking at the champion selection here. And if you look in the vault, I mean, he's got some legendaries, but it's mostly like logins and a few here and there. He's a light spender. Okay. But he, like, nothing pops out. Let's go by rarity.
But yeah, take that energy, build some chickens, and make all of those legendaries.
Oh,
and a lot of those epics.
He's got chickens. He's got, look, you look at his vault. There's 40s. 4 stars. There is chicken. Like, I feel like this guy should have been going for that Krisk event, and I would have never touched him. If he was, watch out, guys. If you are in his bracket, I'm going to instruct him right now to burn these chickens. He is prepared. Myself and another viewer, actually, Nick, have been talking about preparation for champion training, and I mean, I feel like this is what Nick has been doing. This is what Steven's been doing since he's been playing the game. He's just preparing for something. Do you know of anything coming in particular, Steven, that we don't know about?
I will say this is, just as somebody who's played and has always been worried about missing out on doing something or leveling the wrong champion or anything like that. As long as you're talking about all the way up to rank 5, you are really not wasting resources ranking up a champion that you're unsure about. Because even at rank 5, if you decide you don't like that champion, you can always still use them as a 5-star chicken for somebody who actually want to move to a 6-star. And in Faction Wars, that's oftentimes good, because a 5-star champion with gear throw on them is 10 times better than a 4-star champion for Faction Wars.
Yeah, I agree. I can go a little more in depth with this. And I think if I had looked this account yesterday, I probably would have cut back and started maybe with this first and gone through the live arena afterwards. But yeah, I mean, just looking at it, like, he's prepared. He's any champ training that's gonna come in, he's going for it, and I'm scared that he's gonna end up in one of mine, and I'm not gonna.
There's plenty of reasons to hoard resources. Having a bunch of chickens lying around, not the worst thing in the world. But you have situations of champions that you probably could benefit having built to at least 5 stars, if not 6 stars, using some of these chickens you have sitting here right now.
Yeah, like,
so
you've got I was looking through the account when we were talking earlier, and I was looking at your faction wars, right? and you're still sitting at 275 out of 882, right? And you have a lot of solid champs in here that I would honestly build out right away. Like I would build out
Rector Drath. I see a Rector Drath right there. Duck the Pierced.
yeah, Wreck the
This
Draft.
created monster.
I see where was the other one? I see the Gembo,
Skull
Basher,
Crown.
Skullcrown, yep, Husk,
Mhm.
Seeker. Well, I think you actually already have one. But I
Oscaril is actually an underrated champion that's worth building. The
yep,
Spirit
that
Guy next
guy.
to Royal Guard. was
Royal
also
Guard
another good
right
one.
there. You know, I wouldn't be hoarding these resources. I'd be using them, you know, to try to progress your account. Jay, you have anything you want to throw in here?
So basically, what we've been doing is playing. We've been minimalistic, right? Just hoarding, right? Hoarding energy, hoarding resources, hoarding chickens. But the whole reason is it's kind of like a think of this in real time. It's like a female who's not giving her purity up to any male. She's waiting for the right person. So basically they've been waiting for the right coach, the right account takeover to take all this amount of basically power to make their account right. Because they could have built champions that they easily could have got champions that are not really good for faction wars or built champions that are not important. I like to focus on things that are going to give me the most bang for your buck, right? If I build one epic, but I can use it in a secret room and I use it in faction wars and use it in Hydra and use it in Iron Twins, like there you go. I'm getting so much versatility, right? For my resources that I'm putting in. You always want it to pay you back. So now here's the thing. We might be talking about champs and chickens, but this is a gear game. I don't care how much resources we have. If we don't have the gear, then you're not gonna be able to do much. So that's the most important part is how much have we farmed in gear first.
Not only that, but do me a favor and filter by 4 stars and 3 stars and 2 stars and 1 stars. I'm curious what kind of 4-star gear he still has sitting around on this account because
Oh, he's
wow.
got like 1,000 pieces of all 4 stars. Nick, my man. Wow.
I was going to tell him to throw away the 4-star gear and start pushing up to 5 because you've got the champions to do level 20 dungeons without a problem. But the problem is you don't have them built and you don't have the gear to put on them.
A total of 21 pieces for 6 stars, 349 5 stars, and then you're sitting on 12,000 4 stars. If I okay. you I'm just at a loss for words because like this account has so much potential, so much. You can make so much progression in the next month, and you could literally move into like late game to possibly, you know, end game status on the account by just doing this right. What you have right here is the energy that I don't think you can burn this energy in a month if you even tried, and that's running, you know, your PC on every day 24/7 farming a particular dungeon.
Yeah, there's a joke about the game could be Wait Shadow Legends, but there's things that are worth waiting and saving for. Shards is a good example. You'll save your shards for various events to be able to use them on that.
This
He's
right
got
here
some
is good, yes.
You know, I mean, and I'm not going to say that, you know, pulling your shards is bad. On the other hand, soul stones, there is no reason to be sitting on tons and tons of soul stones because soul stones aren't helping you until you pull them. And once you pull them, then you can figure out if they're going to help you, or you can start selling them to get them for the champs, get the souls for the champs that are going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say right now, first things first, is I would start turning all of these 3 and 4 star chickens, turning them into a 5 star, banking those, putting those in your vault, getting this, like, you could blow this guy right out of the water right now, and you could have 6-piece Relentless Lego books sitting right there tomorrow that you can, or the day after that you can get. Like, you need to be doing that. You need to farm those out, clear the vault space, because you've got so much chickens. I don't know what to do with them. And you've got solid champions in here that you could use to progress your account. Great Hall. How long have you been playing, Nick?
Ooh.
Steven?
Well, none of that, but look at the unspent medals up
Oh
there.
my god. I didn't even see those.
What a sea of poop. I love seeing a sea of poop.
I mean, I'm actually one of the people that will tell you spreading things out a little bit and not focusing entirely is not bad, because having things to level 3 helps gearing your champs a lot better. But that's more of a, while you're going between max out this 1 to max out this 3 to max out these 6 missions, it's nice to sometimes fill out your sea to get it from, again, the sea to poop, as he says. I like that term. That's an interesting one. To a sea of silver, to a sea of gold. You know, and it's one thing to max out 6 stats. It's another thing to max out 4 stats and meanwhile have every other stat up to an okay level, because you get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like an,
go ahead, Jay.
like an extra 2-4% is not gonna make a difference. I've seen many accounts, early game, mid game, late game, Kraken accounts. The most important thing, the reason why we build 80% of our champions as ASDD champions, perception, accuracy, speed, is because it's the most important stats. You have to be able to lap your enemies, build speed tunes. So accuracy is the most, since speed's not there, right? Accuracy is the one that is there. So you have to get that one up at least to a gold, right? Not max, but it has to at least get to level 7. Then you can start focusing on, I always tell people get defense, HP, because that's going to help you in clan boss. Now, if you're like a spender, then you can actually level up at a different rate. You don't have to go like like act defense. You could go act into crit damage, because since you're pulling so many shards, you're able to get these top tier Legos, which require you like Trunda, Taurus. You can easily just get them to be able to nuke more, which will get you more gold medals. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I just don't like a sea of poop, because they like. People don't, it gets the mindset like, oh, I get all this, I'm gonna get this, and then they might change. They'll go like, I got enough act, I'm good, I'll just go this now. And it's not really good, because what people don't realize is, to get those banners like 5-6 star accuracy, or then they have to put like accuracy in the chest piece, then you have to get the specific substats too. It's just annoying. It really is, when you could just get your accuracy up there. It makes gearing your champions easier. You don't have to go down Eagle Eye. You can get your War Master for clan boss. You don't have to worry on glyphs, right? If you're not doing faction wars, it just makes things so much easier for everyone, yourself and anybody who's on your account. So that's why I always tell people not to create a sea of poop. But
Yeah.
And the three that are the most effective from a gear standpoint are, of course, crit damage is actually the most effective one, but crit damage you don't need on every champ. So while it can be effective to push your crit damage up, you really want to make sure that when you're pushing it up, you have champions that can take advantage of it. So if I have multiple nukers that are magic, I might start pushing my crit damage up, because then I at least know that I'm going to be helping those champions, because they are key champions on my account. Accuracy, good on almost every champion, just push it up in general. Resistance is the third one. Resistance is not a stat you need early. So oftentimes I'll tell people, ignore resistance until you start getting everything to level 4 or level 6. At that point in time, then resistance suddenly becomes important, because now you're entering the end game where you actually need all the resistance you can. So you might, get some of your accuracies up to level 6, get your crit damage up to 6, and then your resistance goes from 0, and it might go all the way to 10, because you absolutely need to get resistance on this champ to be able to do something in arena, or be able to gear them for a particular Doom Tower boss. So
Yeah.
but yeah, if
What's
you're farming,
going on,
you're
YST?
farming-
How you doing, man? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we got YST in the house. How you doing?
Hey, YSD.
So I'm looking here, and he's doing stage 14 spider. He's doing stage 25-minute farm. We definitely can build a better team for that. We got 14 here, 15 here. He's just doing the farm for level 1 for the quest.
Yeah,
So-
with where he is with his champs, Sand Devil is not worth going into at the moment for him.
Yeah. So looking at what we've gotten so far, I mean, it looks like he's clearing normal Doom Tower, at least. Let's see if he's got the avatar. He does not have the avatar yet, so he's been working on normal Doom Tower. But Faction Wars, I think, is going to be a must. Like, you just throwing gear on even like 5-star champions that you can potentially build later on the line with the 4-star gear is going to be a must. But real quick, let's give it a couple of minutes each. Jay, where do you think he should start first?
I don't like when I get on an account and I see there's challenges there. I say get them out of the way.
Okay.
Don't be like Manimal Gaming, who had his challenges and murder, and everybody was making fun of him. And even me, I was in the chat when he was playing this game, and we're like, "Yo, it doesn't matter if you're a Kraken or not. Just get it out of the way. Just why are you leaving it there? It's one of the original things, just like missions we have to do, right? Just look. I mean, most players don't need to. Once you're this far, you don't need the challenge, but you just want to move it. Get your free resources, move it out of there. Just so people, when they do account roasting or account coaching, they look at that first and then be like, why is it there? So I would just say get that out the way, especially since you have all this energy. Like no one has this much. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So you could easily get that out of the way. That would be the first thing to do. If I was on this account. The second thing would be looking at my missions, right, and then looking at how can I kind of like double dip. Like what do I gotta go? What is the missions telling me to go do? How can I maybe build a champion that's going to be good for that specific area? Or you try to play it like I always try to play every account like it's free play, like the minimum amount of resources possible and get the biggest bang for your buck. Of course, Faction Wars, we have tons of epics and rares, and it's like, man, we should at least be 500-ish in Faction Wars compared to like 275. Like, dang. And more glyphs, right, allow you to get like be able to do more things. You could build certain clan boss teams if you want to go high speeds, or maybe you can. I would truly honestly believe this account, if it uses its energy to farm correctly, like Dragon and maybe some Spider and Fire Knight, you could easily do normal Hydra, like because you can get so
I
many
think he could do way more. The
yeah
300, almost 350,000 energy, Jay. I don't think you understand how much energy that is.
I do understand. That's why when I saw it, I was like, what the fudge? I've seen 100,000. I've never seen 350. That's crazy.
Yeah, when I decide to go hard into an area of the game and farm, I dedicate maybe 2,000 to 5,000 energy to go hard for a specific period of time. That is what 150 go hards for me in various areas.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So Jay, I'll get back to JR. I can give my comments afterwards.
Yeah, first, so the next thing would be to hyper gear cleanse, or on this account we wouldn't be doing it. We'd be just doing regular, just getting everything out of the way, all the 4-star out, looking at my forge, right, looking at it to see if I can. Well, probably don't have a lot of perception or a lot of resources because we haven't been going crazy. There's another reason why I always tell people to go.
He's got the resources. He's sitting on 1,000 Magisteel. He's not doing anything with that.
Oh my god! Let me see the perception real quick. On the highest tier, only 50. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. So... Like he's got the stats here. He's got what he needs here, and he has the silver. He should be farming Faction Wars. He should be leveling all the decent gear up to level 8, right, and throwing it on the champions just to at least get past the first boss to be able to start getting the the higher end forge materials, the bloodstone and the
right.
Yeah.
I personally would I would since he's doing normal Doom Tower, right? Look at the areas like secret rooms that are for normal, that he maybe rare attack or something like that, specifically that he doesn't have. It's all finding the things that you're building ahead of time, because some people will build off of emotions or a video or because someone says this is OP, but everyone's account is different. We don't all have the same champs, so I always like to build champions that are gonna give me the most value in terms of progression, where it's like, okay, cool, now I can do this on auto, and I don't have to worry. It's pretty much set in stone. Well, okay, who's the next champion that can do that for this area? Who's the next champion who can get me a faster from going to stage 20 dragon to stage 25 and getting that full auto on 3 minutes? Who do I have to build for that? Who have to book? That's what I do. That goes a little bit more from account coaching to more account takeover, because you can give yourself like a higher information, because most players don't know that you need higher accuracy, right? As you go up in the game, you're always going to need more ac, more defense stats, more resistance, and just more survivability. Especially now in the hard modes. Oh my gosh, those bosses hit hard. Like they don't play. Especially Fire Knight is just overtuned. Hopefully they fix that. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would go from challenges, missions, straight into faction wars, looking into Doom Tower. How far can I push that? What do I need for that? And then once that's done, I'm looking at clan boss, going, who can I build better for my clan boss team? Because I want to get more free rewards, right? Got to get to Ultra Nightmare as fast as possible. Looking at towards that. Then when you're like, okay, what else can I do? Then you start to like have fun. You get to go like, okay, this champion looks cool. Maybe I could use it for like tag team. Maybe I could make another offense team, or prep yourself for live. And then after that, you start to think to yourself, well, okay, I've been farming enough, D20 or D25. Can I actually push like hard modes? Can I slowly tip my way in? Like kind of like I did. A lot of my runs were like 10 minutes, but once I was getting the hang of it, I was like, all right, I need to change this, change that, and was able to get like 4 or 5 minute runs. My dragon, I think, is like 2 now. And I don't use like cheesy stuff, and that's another thing. If you want to, when you make your account, are you going to basically use the best of the best that everyone's doing, or are you going to play the game how you want to play? Like I don't copycat, right? I'll build what I want to because it's just my enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, you're
I
the
won't
only
just
content creator I
instantly-
know that doesn't want to use a seer.
Exactly. So I mean, like I have one, but it doesn't mean I'm good. I'm not a seer connoisseur, right? I'm not just gonna everything is a seer comp. I don't do that. No.
Um,
But it's up to the player, right? So
So before we get on to Brunt, I'm gonna show you the roster here, and I want you to give me a suggestion of who should be his next 6-star.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Rhonda? Which one would you say?
The number most impactful champion that with books and masteries and people noticed it when he was given to everybody right from the get-go was UDK. People got UDK, boom, Spider 20. People got UDK, boom, straight Dragon 20. He's just insane. In Arena, people were like, I have my Magic champion, which is like Kale or Elhain. Now everybody has, everyone started getting UDK put in defenses. Even in Bronze and Silver, people were complaining, I can't kill this UDK.
He's used in
If I
Plat
kill
Arena
everybody
too.
else, now he's transit. But I'm saying like when he first came out, like people were like, yo, this is nuts. Your little rare nuker or epic nuker could not kill the UDK. And even if you killed everybody else on the opponent team, the UDK gets more stats because everyone's dead. So that one UDK would just in Immortal or like Regeneration would solo your whole team.
No,
It was
don't use them
nuts.
as books,
telling you,
Nick. Sorry, Jay. He's
Well,
asking if he should use he should use copies as
no. Yeah,
don't do that. How you doing, Chris? Welcome.
Yeah, you don't have your
HWZ.
faction guild, your faction guardians filled out yet, and you still have not finished faction wars, so you should not be tossing epics away in just about any way, shape, or form.
No.
But if you've got 3 or 4 of a specific epic, then like those, you've got 3 drakes there. You can probably take the 3rd drake and use them as food. But,
Honestly, I wouldn't do that until your faction guardians are all full.
but
I
yeah,
wouldn't
even
feed-
then, fill them up. Yeah.
So your suggestion is UDK.
Yeah. He's
Hey,
nuts.
we
Nuts. Mischief Tank, amazing for Iron Twins. He's just too good. He honestly should be a Void Legendary.
We got HWZ in the house. Shout out to HWZ. Make sure you guys follow him. If you haven't, I'm pretty sure that 90% of all my followers came from him. So thank you. Now I'm going to pass it up to Brunt. Brunt, what 2-3 areas of the game should he start focusing on, in your opinion?
Well, I liked the idea of getting rid of the challenges and start working on the missions. That's a good guideline in general, but obviously there's only so much you can do from that, and that's just more of a get it done. Although it looks like, okay, you haven't done the arena ones, which are honestly not as hard as they look. But get those done. That's an obvious, easy start. It's extra stuff you're missing. I mean, there's a legendary book sitting right there for the arena stuff. Who wouldn't want a legendary book? I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't want it, I'll take it. what I would probably do from a general standpoint of progression is I would pick 10 champs. And with the amount of chickens that you have floating around this count, 10 champs is not a lot. Take 10 champs, identify them for things that will help your account, and build them up to 6 stars. UDK is a great one. Rector Drath is a monster and a carry in end-game content as well as early content. Miscreated Monster can help get you to Spider 20 without too much of a problem. Husk can be very good in general progression and obviously is good later game. Royal Guard's another one of those. Skullcrown is a great nuker. Basher is very useful in Arena, very good, useful in Faction Wars as well. Those are a couple I can see pretty. Hoscarel we talked about beforehand. Actually, the one next to Hoscarel, I can't remember the guy's name, like Scaramouche or something like that.
I think he's a new one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a new. If he's the one I'm thinking he is,
This one?
no, Fernax. That's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh.
There's a new high elf.
Skiramis.
Skiramis.
That's Skiramis. Yeah, Skiramis is great because he's a provoke into counterattack champion as an epic. That he's not going to be the greatest champ ever, but for making you survive and whittling down the waves, he can be very, very good, especially if you have champs like a Rector Drath or a Syl to keep him alive while he's on those waves. So, but yeah, identify 10 champions, try to spread them out among the different factions. If you want to actually make it a challenge, take one champ from each faction and 6-star one champ from each faction. That'll get you some progress in faction wars, as well as build out your roster, because as much as Jay was talking about, you want to build champs that will help you in 3, 4, 5 areas in the game. Eventually, champions start to specialize. So first find the champions that will help you in multiple areas of the game, like a Duck or a Rector Drath, or just a plain old Duker like Royal Guard. Then start focusing on the ones that are going to help you in specific areas you're still lacking. So maybe you might build a champ specifically for Spider, or you might build a champ specifically for Fire Knight. But by then you hopefully should be doing dungeon 20s. So you build out those 10, 12, well, we'll say 13, because we'll say try ideally one from each faction. And I'm not including Sylvan Watchers at the moment, because that's not a faction war one yet. Ooh, you've got a Valkyrie you can awaken? That's awesome.
I'm not sure why she's not awakened yet.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of things I don't know about that. But you've got all these resources that you're just kind of sitting on that you can use to your advantage. All these chickens you can turn into champs you can actually use. All those souls can be turned into souls for champs you're using. I don't know if you're sitting on tons of books. I'm actually kind of curious about that now.
I think when I looked at it, it was 26 Lego books, 74 epic, and 123
so not a ton,
rare.
But the Lego books is probably not pretty low because you're probably not doing Ultra Nightmare right now. So push yourself up to Nightmare, Ultra Nightmare. And, but use those legendary books. And that's actually one of the nice things about UDK. UDK is actually a champ you can 6-star, max out, get him all his masteries, and put 0 books in him, and he will do you a world of good. On the other hand, Syl is a very good champion. When you book a Syl, she becomes a borderline S-tier champion. Definitely in the early to mid game, she's a huge carry. You get control, you get healing, you get speed control. Very good.
Yeah. So if you were to pick one of his champions from here, which one would you automatically would say would be a 6-star now?
Auto 6-star right now. That is a good question. I liked the UDK, but I will admit that I'm not as high on UDK as other people are, but that has more to do with experience on my account. I do know that UDK had lots of people that he was great for. I still use him on my account occasionally, but he was not a revolutionary champion on my account because I was so advanced that it wasn't where I was. As far as champions that can really be amazing game changers outside of that, if you didn't already have a Syl, I would say Rector Drath, because I know for me, Rector Drath was one of the first epics I got, and Rector Drath, I still remember the day I had a Fire Knight 18 team that everybody but Rector Drath would die in the middle of wave 2. She'd resurrect all of them and it'd go through, and it would take me 8 minutes to run 18, but I could do it with 100% success. It just didn't look like it was going to go for very long. But as far as champions that would be really good for you, yeah, I think UDK is probably the best of the best to go there. But let's go down the epics then a little bit. Rector Drath, again, still solid. The other thing Rector Drath does is Rector Drath is a huge carry for faction wars, and Rector Drath will solve almost all of your Knights Rev issues. She's just that good.
Yep.
I really like Duck the Pierced, especially because I'm not seeing a lot of decreased defense champions that you have. Duck the Pierced is fairly easy to build. He's tanky because he's a defensive champ. He brings a provoke, which can be helpful, or you can just shut that off. The decreased attack helps you survive as well. And he can actually hit for a decent amount of damage while generally tanking on the waves. So he can speed up a lot of your runs. He's useful. He's actually really useful in endgame Ice Golem, because at level 20 Ice Golem, he's positive affinity towards the Ice Golem, which means that he can hit things and do more damage, and the Ice Golem can't smack him as bad when the Ice Golem does the retribution. Plus, he can keep the decreased attack up. So I think Duck might be the unless if you go up and just see what other decreased defense champions they have. But I think
does
Duck
have a
might be the
Zergala, but she's on a
but
4-turn, I
Duck,
think.
Duck over Zergala. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Zergala, but Zergala's a damage dealer first.
He does have a Deacon, so
Does have a Deacon.
Deacon.
Deacon is great, but he has got Deacon at 60, so that's, yeah. Is Deacon better than Duck? Yes. Would I still build Duck to 60 with a Deacon? Yes.
Yeah, because we have no Stag Knight.
Yep.
Yep.
Telesia, he's got her.
Telesia is a great champ too. I really like her, but the problem with Telesia is, unlike Duck, she's squishy. But I used her as my DPS in my Knights Rev on my main. And my Knights Rev was the second faction I cleared. All 38 minutes of manualing it. Thylesia was the DPS though, and she was super helpful against the waves. And the good thing about her is you don't need any books on her, because she's got a 2-turn decreased defense on a 4-turn cooldown, I think, to start with. But she then can extend it on her next attack on a 3-turn cooldown. So she effectively has it on a 3-turn eventually has it 3 out of 4 turns up. And that debuff extend works on every debuff, not just her decreased defense. So she's another great champ. I actually really like High Katoon. I think she's underrated from an arena standpoint, but there are better champs, and hopefully you have better champs here at this point in time. But if you have to build a High Katoon to 5-star, I would not complain. You've got the chickens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Duck is probably the good one to have. And the big advantage Duck has over Deacon is that the decreased attack can help you survive on the waves as you're making your way up there. Very good and specifically, he is amazing in Ice Golem.
He also does bring the decreased accuracy.
Yeah.
So.
And then on top of that, that provoke, we're talking about, you have the chance to do normal Hydra. Duck is actually a very good provoker for normal Hydra. You make him fast enough, he won't be able to keep the champion provoked every turn, but when you need that provoke, he can place it, because it's a place, not a attack. So he doesn't need that champion that champion can even be poison clouded, and he'll still get that provoke up. Venom Mage is such a huge carry too.
Duck. You're going with Duck the Pierce. Okay.
I'm going with Duck, and that's only because somebody else has mentioned UDK.
So I'm gonna go with mine being originally I was gonna say Miscreated Monster, because he just brings so much value with the shields, with the stuns. He's going to be a carry for you in Spider, but I'm gonna say Basher, because that 2-turn lockout, it can get you started enough to where you're able to clear the waves much easier. You can use them in arena. I mean, I've seen endgame content creators, Erebad, who still uses him in his 3v3 arena, and he's gold 4. So he's a champion, he's a mini warlord, so he's going to be there to help you all through arena. He's definitely going to help you out through faction wars. So my pick is going to be Basher. Who else?
As I was mentioning too, you've got enough chickens that you could probably make every champ that we've just pulled out of the vault right there into a 6-star.
Yeah.
Without too much of a problem.
Yeah.
The only thing I would make sure that you do. How are your masteries? Have you done the masteries on the champions you have?
I don't think so. He's farmed
Oh
them.
no, he's farmed the masteries on some of the champs.
Um,
That is one of the things that and I don't know where Jay sits on this. I personally sit on the if they're worthy of being made into a 6-star, they are worthy of getting all your masteries. And the only real exception to that is once you start getting late game where you start like 6-starring rares. Not every rare needs, for rare for a single secret room doesn't need all their masteries.
Yeah.
But masteries are single-handedly the most game-changing, power-improving thing you can do that has zero RNG about it.
Yep. So I'm gonna give my little 2 cents in here on where I think should happen and what you should be doing. First of all, clear out your vault space. Sit down, and if you need help, let us know. We can do a one-on-one chat. But sit down and look at your account. You're going to need to start progressing in Faction Wars. So pick a champion, like Brunt said, out of every faction that's going to be useful for you now until you move to like the late game or mid game to late game, right? So for this faction, I definitely would invest in Rosin. You don't have to book him, but he's definitely a solid in this faction, and he's going to help you in Faction Wars and in Clan Boss if you need him there. So pick a champion out of every faction, make them a 6-star so you have something to start progressing into your Faction Wars. Get rid of all these chickens that you're sitting on, right? Because you're sitting on too much, way too much. So clean the vault space out, right? You have the energy. I'd say let's get you because you have so much of this gear, of this 4-star gear that's not leveled up. You gotta kind of need to sit down and go through and get rid of and just sell all of the crap stuff. You're doing a great job at not keeping the main flat stuff for the bottom row. I think I only saw like 16 pieces, but you need to kind of cleanse through all of this. And even if it's a 4-star, start building some of the Faction War champs, bring the gear up to 8, no higher, and use that to help you clear some of your Faction War stages. And then
actually a pretty easy clear you can do with this is how many 4-star blues does he have? Because you can probably just sell all your 4-star blues at this point in time. You're able to get 5 stars in some cases. 4-star blues have so little potential.
392. I wouldn't want to sell them. I wouldn't want to sell them too far because it looked like 80% of all of his gear was 4 stars. And I don't know what the substat rolls on a lot of those were. So I would caution on the side of error, because sometimes you might have a 4-star that's still better because it's got, granted it is blue, but if it's got if he rolls like a double speed and his average speed roll is a 9 on a current piece and it rolls a 10 or a 12 or something, it still would be better for him.
He only actually had 2 speed pieces that weren't on champs at the moment though. So there's almost no speed he's actually would be selling in these cases. Just for most of these things, the reason I say just get rid of the 5-star blues is the 4-star blues is you're looking to move to keeping only 5 stars. But if you're going to get a 4-star piece that's better than a 5-star, it's going to be at least an epic, if not a legendary, because you're just not going to get the substats you need if it's not an epic or a legendary.
And I would ordinarily agree with that, but he's got so many champions that he's got to build and gear that I don't think it would do the account justice to be able to go in and start farming some of this stuff and bringing the times down. Because he might have the 5 and 6 stars, but if they're all trash, if there's not, there's no good substats, sometimes a 4-star can be a little bit better than a 5-star if it rolls properly.
And he'll still have 600 4-star epics and legendaries plus what he still has in his mailbox, because he had a few hundred pieces in his mailbox too. So this literally would just get room for what he has in the mailbox.
I usually hate doing gear cleanses. I will tell you myself. If I need a gear cleanse, I go see Jay or I go see Educated Potato. I hate doing my gear cleanses. I think the reason why I became a member on Jay's uh, club was to get the gear cleanses because that was the first thing. Like he would, I have Jay's cell phone number and I said, hey, I'm gonna need a gear cleanse to stay. Let's set it up. And I don't do my gear cleanses. Jay will tell you.
It's funny you mentioned Educated Potato. I get gear cleanses from him occasionally, but he and I have actually spent time working on like the RSL helper
Yeah.
cell files, and I worked on some with him, and then came out with 3 different RSL cell files for depending on what level you are to sell some of this stuff.
Yeah, and
He's not a level where it's even appropriate to work at that yet, because until you're getting to 5 stars, it's not even worth looking at an RSL cell helper file.
yeah,
But,
no, I agree with that. I use his file and then I like when I really need a gear cleanse after I've gotten through a lot of pieces, that's when I say. But yes, I would say I will probably not tonight, probably tomorrow. I can do a gear cleanse for you unless Jay gets to it before I do. And then we need to start working on some champs. I want you to go through your account. I want you to look at if you got questions on if you should level this champion and how long they're going to be good for. Feel free, DM myself or Jay or even H-Dub or even Thule that just showed up or Brunt. DM any one of us and we'll give you an honest opinion of will this champion help you. And the reason why I like doing this with all of us here is because we all, I don't want to say specialize in different areas of the game, but we all play the game differently, right? And so you get a better view and more advice at one time with all of us here. I'm sure Thule would have lots to say if he was on today with us, but unfortunately he couldn't make it until later on. But yeah, I would say first and foremost priority, go through, figure out which champs you're going to level, get them ready, get them mastered. You have masteries. You can farm out masteries. And then we can look at building you a team. I would say first, build a team that can farm Ice Golem, Fire, and Fire Knight. And then, because you have the team already, I can already see the team for Spider, 20. Let's farm those. Let's throw that 350,000 energy in to farming those dungeons, doing a proper gear cleanse, not saving so much chickens. Gem-wise, you're doing great at holding your shards. I would, next 2x Ancients, burn about 100 of these, save your 150 depending on what the next guaranteed might be, right? Save your Voids and Sacreds because you should be able to do any fusion coming up. I don't see a lot of the fusion champs in here. Like you could have gotten, I'm pretty sure you would have been able to do Pythion with what you have. And he would have been a solid carry for your account. You would have been able to do a lot of.
I guess that's one of the things too. Is I'm guessing he's a very casual player because that would explain why he's got a lot of this stuff. If he's only playing every once in a while, doing a few things,
he's only got 85
sometimes
multi
it's hard to
battles.
buckle down and focus on something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I would say let's focus on building some of the champions. You won't really need to have 6 stars to be able to do faction wars. And honestly, once you get 21 stars in each one, once you get all the 3 stars in each one, you don't really need to farm 21. You could sit and farm 20 or 19. 20 drops the same as 21. So, but okay. And make sure you've leveled this up. Make sure you're getting your food champions. But we have done the 2-hour mark. So it is going to be time to bring this to an end for today. But before we go, we do like to give shout outs. So I'm going to start out with Brunt first. Brunt, do you have a shout out?
Well,
Put you on the spot.
Okay.
A shout out to
um,
anybody, someone, one of your community members,
to
or
anybody.
anybody.
Oh no, we mentioned. I see Tools in chat, and we've talked about him. He is definitely a great contenter to follow as well. The other one we mentioned is Educated Potato. Be aware, at least on for you, Steven. He is a very end game content creator. That doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's doing, but he approaches a lot of things from the end game. I'm kind of end game, but I definitely deal with a lot of folks that are in the newer tools all over the place. But he definitely focuses on the end game, and that's really kind of where it can get kind of discouraging, where you hear people as well. So don't get discouraged on where you're at right now. If someone tells you a champion is bad, remember that they're probably talking from whatever version of content they're in at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, Supreme Hain was not particularly great for me, but I've already got a Georgid and multiple Rotos. So not going to dent my account particularly much. On the other hand, your account, Supreme Hain, would be your number one arena nuker right now. Just flat out.
Yep.
So just, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking your account, making it your own, figuring out the champs that work for you and doing them. I know that's one of Jay's things, but it really is, you know, this is a game. Have fun with it.
Okay. Jay, yourself, do you have a shout out?
Yeah, there's a new person coming up to the scene, kind of like Chaos TV and Raid Wakundo. If I'm correct, I think their name is Illegitimate Raid or something like that. Like the name, I'll have to send the link to you. But he's also another player that's coming up, and definitely giving out some, you know, pretty good knowledge. He seems like a pretty cool guy. He's kind of like, just like I said, just like Chaos TV, Raid Wakunda. They're all doing their own things. You know, it's trying to come up and be probably new coming up content creators for Raid Shadow Legends. So let's see what goes with it. So far, he's pretty good. He's pretty knowledgeable. He does some excels here and there. So I'll definitely show the link to BLAZIN. So if you guys want to see it for later.
Yep, I'll pin it in the description below along with everybody else's channels. And for me, my shout out's actually going to go to Nick this week. Nick and I have been talking a lot this week. We built him a clan boss team. We went from a 40, I think was 49 million key, and he's now doing, I think, a 1 key ultra nightmare at like 122 million. So it was lots of fun to work on his account. I've been on his account quite a bit. Has definitely sparked a lot of interest. I'm like, ooh, he's got a lot of champions I don't. What can we build for him? Yeah, it was lots of fun. So shout out to Nick, my man. I appreciate you. And so before we end it off, I just want to make sure you guys know we are doing the giveaway for the Chronum. If you comment on any video from now until April 28th, I believe it is, you will be entered to have me do all your referral accounts, whether it's 3 or 6, to get you Chronum along with any of the other rewards. So I felt that was my best giveaway to give back to the community, rather than just giving the gem packs and stuff. I feel like I needed to do something bigger for you guys. So make sure, you know, you guys just comment on any video. Basically, it's going to be random. So the more videos you comment on, the more of a chance you have. And if you are interested in having us discuss and giving you an account coaching and going from there, or even building your teams and stuff like that, DM me in Discord. We will get you into the rotation on a Sunday, and we take care of it for you. So as always, guys, much appreciation, much love. Be well. Be safe out there. We'll catch you guys on the next one. All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Good talking to you guys.
Yeah.